Hello, good evening, and welcome. This is a sad tale of a man who fell in love and went to eBay. And there, whilst trawling through all the other CB radios, he happened upon this. The Cobra 200 GTL DX with working night watch and very clean in condition. Good chrome, no scratches, all complete. The seller said, the usual eBay mantra, I don't have any way of testing it, but it worked the last time I used it. And so our hero proceeded and pressed the buy it now button. Some time later, after partial farce got their act together, said Cobra 200 GTL DX was delivered to its new owner. Whereupon he ripped the box open like a young child on Christmas morning, looking for his new presents. Hurriedly he ran to his shack and got the necessary cabling sorted out, plugged it in to the antenna and the power supply, and turned it on. And then there was nothing. Silence fell very loudly in the man's shack. Maybe I have something connected up wrong, he said. And off he went. And he decided to double check all his wiring, take all his patch leads and change them, swapping out this and swapping out that, all to no avail. So our hero sent this over here along with his Mark V and said, George, see if you can sort this old beastie out. And I said, sure, we'll have a go. And here's where the story gets interesting. Now, the sad thing about these radios is they look absolutely beautiful. I always like the look of these, and always said to myself, I really like one of those. But anybody that has a good one that works doesn't really want to part with it, but because they're kind of a bit special. These were made in the Philippines, and it was Uniden stroke Cobra stroke whoever was kind of really their first foray into surface mount technology. All these small little bastards here. Yeah. So anyhow, these have a 2-pillar arrangement here for the power amplifier that are normally driven by a MOSFET that lives here. Now, these are known that these MOSFETs can pop static discharges and stuff like that. So normally it's just a simple fix, open it up, pull the old MOSFET out, bang the new one in. So this is what our hero found when he opened it up. So I don't know how well this is going to come out now. Somebody went in here with a freaking blowtorch, and you can see there, pad gone. These two are far behind it. Now that normally in itself wouldn't be a huge deal. You could fix that. As we have a look at the component layout here on the screen, this is the driver where it lives here. And we see these associated components that are feeding into it, for want of a better word. So you have this trimmer here, which adjusts the voltage to the MOSFET, and you have these associated resistor, capacitor, resistor, diode. Then we have a resistor here, trimmer, and a few ceramic caps, and another resistor here. So if we go back here, we can see, if we get that out of the way, we have our little resistor here. That's our 617, and we have our 3 disc capacitors, 1, 2 and 3. And here's where it gets really interesting. The trimmers in these are made from chocolate. They're these little ridiculous bastards here. And on this particular species, if you go near these at all with the incorrect implement, they like to break. Which is what our Have a Go hero probably did. Now, so he decided he'd take it off, which he did. And you can see on the board here, we should have 3 pads, 1, 2 and 3. This one's ground, that's the wiper, that's the input to it there. So the lights are causing a bit of a glare. Might turn them off. Yeah. Okay. Now, doing without casting a shadow is going to be a job in itself. We prop it up on something here. Okay, so what we should be seeing here is we should be seeing these 4 components here: a resistor, capacitor, resistor and a diode. Okay, so we have 1, 2 and 3. The diode is gone, probably swept off when they went in with their red hot poker trying to get the trimmer off. What else is there off to the side? Then there should be another resistor here, gone. And like, they're that small you can't really see in here. Now, I'll be the first to admit I am not a big fan of fault finding and doing repair work and all that kind of stuff, but seeing as he had 1 radio coming, I said, yeah, sure, send it down, we'll have a look. Oh, look at that. We also have a fried cap. Interesting. That's probably why there's no receive, I would imagine. Because that's all the audio strip there, down this side of the board. So that's probably open or shorted, one or the other. Anywho, so I did what I normally do in these cases. I brought it down to the man, the myth, the legend, that is Ray Byrne. And I says, here Ray, have a look at this thing. I went off my way. And, you know, Ray takes his time, and I don't rush him. And he eventually got around to it, or I asked him about it, and he said, no. He said that the way this board is all destroyed here, and these pads are gone, there's no way of fixing it. It's absolutely destroyed. You know, and as I said, these 3 pads here, them on their own wouldn't be a huge deal, you know. But the way this has all been destroyed here renders this a paperweight, albeit a very expensive paperweight. So, yeah. So here it will stay, and one of a few things will happen. It'll either, if I can find another one that has the encoder goes bad in these, and you can't get the encoder. It's specific to this radio, and quite a few of them, the encoder goes bad, or they blow the main CPU down there. Blow that lad. And a few other problems and things can happen. Now, amazingly with this radio, like, the night watch works, which it normally doesn't on this. It's normally burnt out. It's electroluminescent backlit behind. It's sandwiched in between the bezel and the front panel here, and it's kind of translucent here where all the text is, so when it's lit, just the text lights up. So either we can find one with a bad encoder or something like that, and kind of make one good one out of two bad ones. One with a blown CPU. We can see, can we do anything with that? Now, it would not be a pleasant experience getting that off there, but I have invested in SMD rework station. So, not that I just really wanted it for the hot air gun, to be honest. For doing heat shrink. The gas one is grand, but it gets too hot and it ends up burning the heat shrink sometimes. Whereas that you can just set the temperature and that's all that comes out. So the last option will be we transplant something else in here. Take all this board out and put something else in there in its place. Now, it's kind of sad because, you know, these pills are probably good, and I haven't tested them now, so I don't know. You know, the PA in these is quite interesting the way it's done. So, you know, and there's no real way to kind of that you could get the PA out on its own. I don't think that would be a runner. Can't see that working. So as I said, at the moment it's a very expensive paperweight, and you know, don't fall for the old thing on eBay of, oh, I've no way of testing it. If somebody has a radio like this, or of this ilk, like what was an expensive radio when it came out, and it's kind of desirable and the whole lot, there's no way in hell they're not going to have a room full of radios like all the rest of us do, and several dozen microphones and maybe 3 or 4 aerials. It's just not going to happen. You know, different if you're looking at a, you know, Superstar 3900 with about 4 inches of dust on it, and it's been, Grandpappy threw it out in the shed after he got rid of his pickup truck when he couldn't drive no more. Radios like that, yeah, you could take a chance on them, but they have to be cheap. And but the likes of this, not so much. But yeah, so there you go. Just be careful. I was telling Gary, in my entire radio career, I think I've only ever bought maybe 2 radios or 3 radios maximum on eBay, and I was fortunate with all 3 that they worked. But you know, something that's expensive, you might as well rock up to the local casino and put it on the roulette wheel, because, you know, people will kind of go at something like this and make an absolute pig's ear of it, and then try to offload it to some other poor unfortunate who discovers then that you can't do anything with it. Like Ray said, no, he said, I wouldn't even attempt it, he said. And if Ray tells you that, it's scrap. Sad, really, but it is what it is. So anywho, that's it for this one, and we'll get you again soon. Bye bye.